The Taurus in the Evo 8, with Tony Esplin rounding out third place. The second day was probably my favourite. It was at the Mount Cotton driver training facility and would include the famous Mount Cotton hill climb. But before any of us could tackle the tasks, all cars had to be checked for noise, and if you were over the 90 decibel level, that's it, you couldn't go. Word spread like wildfire on what to do and how to beat the system. But the most innovative approach was by this complete tool.
Some new mufflers for my car, make it under 90 dB. It'll work.
One car that didn't pass was the shiny red Ferrari. The first time we've had one at a Dutton Rally. Let's find out more about the 360 Modena.
Well, you call it a weapon, I think, is the word. No, it's pretty much the standard 360 Modena. It's a 400 horsepower. It's running a little bit more than that, I guess. 3.6 litre V8. It's got a little bit of suspension work done to set it up for the rally, but pretty much, it's a standard $300,000 Ferrari that you don't want to hit the wall with.
Well, you ain't seen nothing yet, folks. Welcome to day 2 of the Alphera Dutton Rally, the national series based in Queensland. A gorgeous day at Mount Cotton and the Driver Training Centre. Now, we've got plenty of action because right behind me here, this is their skid pan. And I say skid pan not because it's covered in water, but here in front of me, these aren't water tracks. They're diesel tracks. Mix that with water, this thing is going to be like ice skating, which is a good thing because Stephen Bradbury's also here.
Water and diesel and a whole bunch of rev heads with fast cars. Yeah, it should be good fun. Looks like there'll be some interesting viewing as well as driving out there, so looking forward to it.
Why'd you come along to the Dutton Rally? I know you love your motorsport and it's, I suppose, in your hometown.
Yeah, I'm from Brisbane. We're out here at Mount Cotton and it just seems like a really good fun event and I'm looking forward to getting into it today. And you can just feel the energy that's coming from everyone that's entered in the event. There's just a really good vibe, so yeah, it should be a fun weekend.
The early drivers had the best of it with the course not yet fully wet. Taking full advantage of that was Greg Sutton in the lovely, trust me, Evo. Trust me, I won't get it sideways. And he didn't. It was a smooth run. But it didn't take long before there was enough water on course mixed with the diesel to get you wet, especially if you didn't have a roof on your car. The next couple of events were right up there in terms of favourites for me. The road courses were just fantastic, not just because our little Lotus Elise set the fastest time, not once, but twice, but the nature of the course itself. The little Lotus handled like a dream through here, but before we got to tackle this, we had another wet auto test to tackle. A series of slalom runs, a tight turn at the end and a set of gates to negotiate was on course, but add some water to it, and that made it a slightly different affair. But surprisingly, it wasn't overly slippery. But boy, was it tight. Follow it. Lunch was held at the beautiful Sirame Winery, a chance for us to park our fine cars and swap seats for some fine food. But of course, alcohol and motorsport don't mix, so Sirame Winery's reds and gorgeous whites will have to wait until next time. It was a chance for all the drivers to brag about their exploits, though, in the morning session. But beware, fellas, don't overload too much on all that food. Extra weight might hinder your performance on the next event, the Mount Cotton Hill Climb. The Mount Cotton Hill Climb is a pretty daunting piece of road first time out. And I don't mind saying that I had butterflies in my tummy before I had my first run. But I wasn't the only one. Bernie Wilson in the Evo told me he was a little nervous as well. You see, we watched all the competitors head up the hill and then lift off, brake, right behind the trees. And we thought, well, what's up there that makes them brake like that? It must be pretty scary stuff. You head in there blind the first time. But let's have a look around the track from the roof of my little car, the lovely Lotus. In the world goes away once you're out there. It's mainly first and second gear all the way around, and while the quick boys were doing 46s, you were going pretty well if you cracked the 50 mark. There were a few excursions early on, which included one of the Westfields running off to go lawn mowing, but the biggest tool of the day, winning an award that night, was my mate Rennie Di Maria in his new Porsche. First, he ran off the track as he just started, bit of brain fade, and out of the 50 cars, he was the only one that went the wrong way on the hill climb. You see, the part of the hill we all went down, Rennie went up. But that's the way he's made his money. You see, he breaks the mould. He sees things others don't see. He uses initiative. But this weekend, those kinds of acts only amount to one thing. Rennie, a Tool Award. The last event for day 2 was the Broadwater car park. Now, hundreds of locals had turned up to see the millions of dollars in machinery in action. There were people trackside, in the air, and even those trying to get the best vantage point. The sun was shining and now was the perfect time to put the topless motorcar into action. Before the event started, we all had to do a recce lap to make sure we didn't make a complete tool out of ourselves in front of all the people. David Brown and Brian Smith, speaking of tools, had entered the Toyota Prius in this year's event, proving again all you need is a road-registered car and a good dose of humour. Let's see how the Toyota handles in turn one. Well, handbrake sure works. Who said you couldn't get smoke to come off the wheels of a Prius? Andre Morris hit a hat and wasn't happy with himself. And Dean Evans thought that 3 wheels was better than 4. But to get a good idea of the course, let's ride now with Darren Park. But as the sun decided to set on day 2 of the Alphera Dutton Rally, we decided it was time to let our hair down. Wow, not quite what I meant, but you get my point. It was time to head back to the Marriott and get ready for the traditional Saturday night auction. The Dutton Rally's official charity is the Sunnyfield Association, an organisation that helps people with disabilities and their families. A terrific array of items had been assembled to bid for, including a massive plasma screen TV. Well, it was actually a raffle prize which had been won by one of the drivers, Joe Luca, who actually donated it back to the charity, and we auctioned it off for $3,500. That went to the Esplins, but in the end, it helped the grand total to an amazing $20,000. That'll go a long way to helping the work of the Sunnyfield Association.